for Akwesasne Connect. Welcome to Akwesasne Connect, Akwesasne TV's first talk show. I'm your host, Karonhianonha Francis. In this episode, I sit and speak to Saint Regis Mohawk Tribal Chiefs Thompson, LaFrance, and Beverly Cook to discuss the upcoming community referendum taking place on June 4, 2016. Two of the three questions being posed to the community include the legalization of medical marijuana and exploring industrial hemp. Akwesasne Connect goes on location to the Saint Regis Mohawk Tribe. Take a look. So, could one of you please explain what the referendum is for when it comes to medical marijuana and industrial hemp?
The council felt that the question is appropriate because it asks for clear direction from the community whether or not to pursue this initiative because it's going to require some significant amounts of time and effort as well as resources. So we wanted to be very clear, get a clear mandate from the community before investing any more resources into it. So
now going back to before the referendum, how did this come to be? How did the subject, how was that brought up?
Well, it was at first it was brought up at a tribal meeting after New York State officially legalized medical marijuana here in New York State. And there was also the Cole memo, and this was like over a year ago, when you know there was talk of you know not so much legalizing marijuana on reservations, but how it was going to be handled by you know the U.S. attorney and stuff like that. So we had community members that came to a tribal meeting, and they were actually you know pushing for medical marijuana and its use here on the territory. You know, and we all had differing opinions, but over time, I see the benefits of you know pain management where they're not opioids, and you know that leads to trouble later down the line because you know people get addicted to those, and you know with the medical marijuana they're controlled doses, and the way the New York State regulations are, they're in pill form. So it's not like you're smoking or using vapor, because that's you know that's as harmful as smoking cigarettes. You know, so and then you know there's also edible forms of medical marijuana. So there's a whole gamut of things that you can do other than smoking marijuana. And for industrial hemp, you can use 100% of the plant, you know, and right now the United States imports like 98% of the hemp products from either Canada or Mexico or wherever else they're imported from. So, and then there's a move in New York State and also on the federal level to decriminalize industrial hemp. So, you know, we think that the tribe and tribal members can benefit, you know, from both parts of the issue. I think more so with industrial hemp, if it gets deregulated as a class 1 drug. So you know we're just asking the community, you know, what direction they want us to go.
I think it also gives the community and the tribe the opportunity to engage and digest this issue as a whole. So on the other end of the referendum, there'll be more opportunity to bring forth the findings of the investigation should the referendum be yes, which will allow more dialogue, more understanding, and a clearer picture for the community to in regards to which way this is going to go.
So I think there's also, it gives the community, it gives us clear mandate because we realize that there's also community members that are not clear about what the impact of medical marijuana is going to be. There's a lot of concern about marijuana being diverted, just like opioids are being diverted, methadone gets diverted, Suboxone gets diverted away from the patient that it was initially prescribed for. Medical marijuana is a little bit different in that the seeds are and the cultivation of it is done in a way that is specific to a patient. The seeds are engineered so that the level of THC may be very small, but the other elements of the cannabis plant are utilized in medical ways. That's all an education process. Hopefully, we get enough information out there for people to feel that they're really giving an informed decision about the medical marijuana. The hemp is very attractive, I think, because anything that you can make with plastic or petroleum-based products, you can make with hemp. Cloth, building materials, paper, you can utilize it for a lot of things, car parts and, car body parts and so on. So I think that in terms of environment, in terms of having a crop that could be economically lucrative for the tribe is something that we definitely should pursue. And we also have assembly women and men that are interested in helping us work towards that, and they're interested as well. So I think everybody also in the education process is going to have to realize that this is going to take time, and medical marijuana doesn't mean that you throw seeds out, in the back, in the backyard and start cultivating. It's not how it's done. It's very scientific. There's engineers, scientists, chemists, pharmacists, prescribing physicians that all have to be in line. And so how we decide to do that in the end, whether the tribe does it or whether we subcontract with other entities, it will all be worked out. But first we need to know whether we have the mandate of the community to go ahead and continue to explore it.
At Maloney's, we're really proud of our Cub Cadet mowers. They make very dependable, very durable mower. They've got 62 models of lawn mowers. If you're mowing a half an acre or 10 acres, we got a machine that'll do exactly what you need it to do. You can get the zero turns with the steering wheel or the lap bar. We've got a 1969 Cub Lowboy outside that really speaks to the durability and dependability of Cub Cadet. They're an American company made in the United States, and we're really happy to have them as our primary lawn and garden equipment.
Wideband Networks is now offering 80 channels of HD video services. Premier channels included in our lineup are Akwesasne TV, Showtime, ESPN, CTV, CBC, NBC, and HBO. Double play and triple play bundles available including internet, voice, and video services. The Wideband office is located at the Akwesasne Business Center, 447 Frogtown Road, Suite 205. For additional information, please call 518-333-0231.
So right now in the community, there's a large number of Akwesasne that are pushing for a detox center. In another sense, would this be the best timing for this issue or this change to be brought up?
Well, I think that this is going to take time. This is not going to happen in the next couple of weeks. The Detox Center and long-term rehabilitation for addiction is a priority, and this is not going to preclude us from continuing to explore that very great need in the community. This is going to take a while, the medical marijuana. Some people strongly believe that marijuana is a gateway drug. Anytime that you're giving medications for pain or some other medical reason, there's always the potential for diversion, and that's why there's such strict regulations concerning medical marijuana. Supposedly there's strict regulations with opioid prescriptions as well, and people find a way. So detox is still a very high priority. There's no way that we're not pursuing that, and I don't think that it's going to be sidetracked or, set off the tracks because of this this endeavor. And this is just the question. This is the community's opportunity to give their voice to what they want also. But for tribal council here, the needs of our members that are afflicted with addiction is at the top.
So just going from the majority of the community, which direction it's going to go in?
The possibility could be also that if we investigate the process and we say we get a yes response from the referendum, and then we start doing our due diligence and exploring this avenue, and it turns out that we're not able to do it, or it's not going to be, the risks outweigh the benefits because there's a lot of legal issues that go along with this, we might bring it back to the community and say it isn't feasible at this time. I mean, that's a possibility, but we won't know until we get to the end of the road on the investigation.
I think also what the community needs to look at, when we ask the question and we get the direction to go, right, which direction we're going to go, like what Chief Cook was saying, we have to do our due diligence, and just from early on, she mentioned that each seed is engineered to fit a patient, right? So part of that is, she said, you have to have the engineers, the doctors, the chemists, the botanists, and all these. So right off the bat, you're looking at a very costly operation.
Right.
Like she said, it's not like just throwing a handful of seeds out in your backyard and hoping, you get more females than you do males, right? So, and each plant has to be, there's a DNA chip inserted in each plant, so it's very, very costly, right? So it's more than, just throwing seeds out and cultivating and harvesting marijuana, where you could do that with hemp, right? Because it's, even say you had it grows wild, but even if you were to have a field and somebody came and they cut down your hemp, there's no way that they can actually get high from smoking hemp. So, and there's no THC in a hemp, I believe, very, very minimal. So, I can see the benefits of medical marijuana, and that it helps people who are severely ill, because the last thing you want to do is to give, a loved one barbiturates or opioids, and they become, just shells of their former self, right? That's not a good thing. But if this medical marijuana is designed so that it can help people, then that's a good thing. But it's once again, it's asking the question.
With regards to the industrial hemp, I think the intent behind this question is to get in front of the federal and state legislation, because I think that this is going to be, the question is going to be answered in the affirmative on those levels with regards to delisting that criminally. And we want to be in position to take most advantage of that when that happens, because the markets are already set. It's just a matter of plugging into those markets. I think right now the markets are mainly made up of Canadian companies who grow on the northern portion and then fill that. But if those regulations or if that plant is delisted, then it opens up a lot of opportunities on the manufacturing side and economic development side as well for us. So that's one of the intents behind coupling that particular question with this referendum question as well.
Is there anything else that you want to address to the community about this referendum, and maybe like times of the meetings or?
Well, for those who are interested in attending, when the tribe does a referendum, we're required by law to host 3 community meetings, and for the medical marijuana and hemp, the first meeting will be held Wednesday, May 11th from 6 to 8 p.m. and Saturday, May 21st from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and Monday, May 23rd from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. And all those meetings will be held here in the lobby at the tribe, at the community building.
Brassour's Pizzeria and Lounge, home of the award-winning wings. Whatever your family is hungry for, Brassour's Pizzeria can serve it up. From subs and wraps and the famous award-winning jumbo wings. Call today at 518-358-6122, pickup or delivery. If you're looking for a relaxing night out, maybe catch a game or pay-per-view fight, the Brass Horse Lounge is the place to head. Friendly faces, relaxing environment, and the patio is now open. Brass Horse Pizzeria and Lounge.
Hi, Everett from Furniture Weekend. My wife Kathy and I are wondering, since it's cold outside and you're spending more time inside, are you noticing that your sofa's worn out, your mattress has a sag, or your recliner needs replacing? See us for all your furniture needs. From rustic to contemporary, we've got it. Furniture Weekend, 44 Duane Street, Malone. Open 10 to 5, Friday through Sunday, or by chance or appointment. And remember, at Furniture Weekend, we open less, so you pay less.
Is there anything else you want to address?
I would just like to say that this is your opportunity to have your voice heard. You know, because there's a lot of people who don't always exercise that right to vote, but those are the ones that complain the loudest, right? And for whatever reason, if you feel either way, you know, you're for it or you're against it, just exercise your right to vote and have your voice heard, because it's hard when you have the three of us who are in charge of taking a mandate and seeing it through. Not having an overwhelming yes or a no, it makes it harder for us, because then there's always that thing that this is what we're pushing on people. This is not what we're doing. We're asking your permission in which way you want us to direct this ship.
Well, I would just echo Chief LaFrance's remarks and encourage people to come out to the meetings, to come out to voice your opinion, cast your vote, yay or nay on it. This is going to be the time to do it. I think that there are differing opinions. I think we have to be respectful of each other's opinions on it. There's different dimensions to this debate, and I think that it provides an opportunity to have a good, positive discussion on it. I'll conclude with that.
And I would just say that it's going to ask people to understand that the process takes time. Even working up to developing exactly what we wanted the question to be took us some time to do that. And depending on what the results are, if it's in the affirmative, that it's also going to take some time. And I know people are anxious and are feeling that it's already been too long since the original question was raised several years ago, but it is quite a tedious process. The other thing is that on the day of voting, the ballots are going to be, it's going to be very busy because there's a chief and sub-chief up for re-election. There's also judges, chief judge position, and the other traffic judges are up for re-election. And then there's 2 referendum questions. There's another one on membership besides the marijuana question, which maybe we'll talk about at a later time. But to stay alert, read the paper, check the Facebook sites and so on, just to stay on top of it.
We are going to get the message out.
Yeah.
So you're going to have that added opportunity to even just if you want to listen. You know, because we do have people who are afraid to say anything at meetings. For whatever reason, you know, the more questions that we get and those questions that we might not be able to answer, that's a good thing. Yeah. Because it gives us the opportunity to explore those questions, right?
Right.
Because there's a whole things about butters and oils that are outside of that, what inside the New York State regulations. So, you know, I look at at Facebook all the time, and you have these things about you know, the benefits of marijuana, medical marijuana, and there's, I mean, oils and butters and stuff like that, but it's not within, you know, the regulations within New York State. So those are things that we are going to have to explore to see if we can do those things, right?
Yeah.
So just you know, pay attention, like Chief Thompson and Chief Cook said, pay attention. You know, we will get the information out. It's going to be on our website. and hopefully it'll be on, Akwesasne TV, both, the digital model and the television as well.
So I just have one final question. What kind of research, like you brought up before, what kind of research has the tribe done so far to bring this up? To see this as a lucrative venture?
A lot of, we've gone to a lot of conferences. Like NAFOA is the Native American Finance Officers Association, and they had, they had a workshop, a couple workshops that we attended.
NCAI,
and
USET.
USET, and so they're all at, like, a lot of the tribes across the country are interested in getting it. So, they come and they share ideas. So to say that a lot of research, but just by attending these workshops, but there has been no, not to my knowledge of any scientific research.
I think there's been cursory analysis done through our economic development office, internet research that we've done, speaking to other professionals who are in the field at these conferences. There's a lot of interest in it, and but if you'll notice, there are tribes or nations that are participating in it, but there's not an overwhelming amount, because there is risk that's associated, and we're still. This goes to Chief Cook's question about the the anticipation, or we're going to miss the boat, and I don't think that's true necessarily, because there are a lot of other nations that are in the same position that we are, and we're looking to be prudent with how to proceed. There are nations that are doing it, but the surrounding state has a great deal of effect on setting up those regulations and participating in the types of industry that they are participating in. But I think that the amount of nations that are similarly situated as we are outnumber those that are actually in the industry.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
What was the question?
So you had touched on other tribes that are doing this, correct?
There are, but it's like
There's no list.
there's no list,
right.
and I don't have it in front of me right now, but there are other nations that are involved in it. There are nations that on the other end of it, though, that where it's legal in their state and they don't want it.
Oh,
So
right.
there's two sides of the coin.
Both the legal and, the medical and the recreational.
Yeah, so it's an issue, and I think that because of that, we're going to have to deal with this regardless.
Right.
So.
Well, and I think, when you start getting into that, we've been approached by some entities that already have people that have done the research on it and have gone in depth into the economics of it, but also the medical and chemical portion of the medication. Also, there's other Indian tribes that have done it, but also have had trouble, especially with the feds, because it's still illegal federally. So there's that balance that has to be struck between our, if we do develop regulations around it, and how that's going to be accepted or respected by the federal agencies. So, and who knows, by the time we get this worked out, it might be legalized federally. We're not, we don't know how to anticipate that, but first and foremost, we have to find out whether it's feasible here.
Okay, I don't want to keep this any longer.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So that's going to wrap up our discussion for today. I'm Karonhianonha Francis.
Akwesasne Connect.